Hello and welcome to This is Nigeria, Unlocking Her Potential. Now this is the program that has clamored over time for the diversification of the economy of Nigeria. And today we're looking at 6 years of nationhood. How far have we gone on this journey? And we've been looking through the lens of several stakeholders, but today we're looking through the lens of the Minister of State for Labor and Employment and the Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Festus Keyamo, and his views are quite interesting. So don't go away, stay with us. My name is Mayowa Oluwabi. We are here with the Honorable Minister of State, Labor and Employment, a Senior Advocate of Nigeria, a man who has been in the trenches and is finally on the other side. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Honorable Minister Festus Keyamo, what is your assessment of Nigeria's 60 years of nationhood?
Well, the good, the bad, the ugly, mixed bag. But is there something to celebrate? Yes, there's something to celebrate. Nigeria is still standing as one. Okay. There are other countries that have gone separate ways. So Nigeria is still standing as one. We have also enjoyed about 21 years now from broken democratic experience. Okay. There has been some kind of development. Not as much as we would want, not as much as our potentials should have taken us to, the heights our potentials should have taken us to. But like they say, we are still breathing. And so,
as long as there is life.
As long as there's life, we are still breathing. And so we should mark the 60 years. Okay. But we should not forget that we should have done better. We should learn our lessons. We should not dwell on the past mistakes of our predecessors in office. We should not dwell on the past mistakes of those who mismanaged the economy in the past. I think it's just time to get down to brass task. Nigeria is just 60 years. Some more countries are 200, 300 years old. It's time to rebuild Nigeria. It's time to get down to brass task, and I think we can do it. That, I think, is the message of hope we should carry around at this point in time. Okay.
As a young man growing up, you raised 2 million signatures back then, and since then you've grown in leaps and bounds. Now you are on the other side of the divide. What's the view looking like? Those things you fought for that time, we're still fighting for them.
Well, it is time to put into action some of my ideas. Okay. It's not exactly the way you look at it from the outside, because when you come on the inside, there are other impediments to realizing your dreams, to realizing and to putting into effect all your ideas, because you have to contend with other people who are also in the democratic space, who are also in public office, and they are also right to be there. For instance, you can't exercise your powers wholly as executive without legislative oversight, and they may have different ideas. Yes. You cannot also implement all you want to implement because of budgetary restrictions. You can also not even, the budgetary thing is even two-way. You may also put something in the budget, and the system we run now, which of course I have told everybody that we have to challenge, depending on how they agree with me. The executive puts in something now, and it comes out, and the legislature distorts it. And so the vision, bloated. Either bloated or even restricted, in the sense that, oh, the executive will say we want to put 30% in education, 20% in health, and on and on. And by the time the budget comes out, instead of 30% in education, you see 5% in education. What do you do? And the question has always been that, can the legislature distort the budget of the executive? Can they add or remove? Can they now impute other projects the executive never thought about? Can they do that? That has always been, it's a very academic issue for now.
It's constitutional.
It's constitutional, but nobody has gone to court to challenge it. So those are the things that hamper your vision, putting into reality your vision. So it is a bit different from outside. But that does not mean that the essence of your person, the core principles you have, you fritter away those principles, or you just throw away those principles. You can still maintain those principles. But then you must learn to work in a collective. Okay. The mistake most of us made as activists is that you go it alone. You know, nobody challenges you. Nobody challenges you. You think your ideas are the purest ideas. But then you must be ready to listen to others. You must be ready to work within a collective. Yeah. You must be ready to work with people who perhaps others may not view as the best in terms of morals. But that does not mean that you corrupt your own morals. Okay. Because politics is about working with people. And that's why I'm telling our fellow activists, if you want to get far in politics, try as much as possible to open your flanks to work with as many characters as possible. So long as they don't corrupt your own character, but work with as many people as possible in order to get to the end of it. Get to a position where you can now effect policies that can possibly affect the lives of the ordinary Nigerians. Okay,
60 years on, Nigeria is still on the poverty index of the world. As much as we don't want to look at our mistakes, and for a country that is listed as part of the poorest countries of the world, our cost of governance is outrageous.
Yes.
It's part of the mistake we've been making over the years.
Absolutely.
Successive governments.
Absolutely.
Now, going forward at 60,
yes,
what is your view? Should there be a review of the cost of governance? Or should lawmakers even do part-time if we cannot afford the system of government?
Well, there are different ideas out there on what to do, but it's not just we don't have one answer to the issue, because the cost of governance is not only the legislature to say let them do part-time. Okay. That will not solve the problem of cutting the cost of governance. It may be part of it, yes, it may be part of it.
A good place to start.
So they are the ones to pass the same law. They are the ones to review the constitution to say that, okay, now we don't want to be full-time again. Cut our allowances, give us peanuts, let's go home and be coming from home. That's suicide. You're asking a politician to commit suicide. It's not going to happen.
Or they take the minimum wage.
Or tell them to take the minimum wage. It's not going to happen. Okay. So we must think outside the box. Yes, there's a need to cut down the cost of governance. We may have a full session beyond this television interview to look at the merits of part-time legislature. Of course, there are merits also of full-time. There are demerits also because of the cost you're talking about. Okay. So we'll look at all that. But then that is not the only solution too. We have to also look at the executive too, and how they spend money and the type of budgets they make in terms of overheads, in terms of recurrent expenditure, not capital expenditure. We have to look at all of that too and see how we can cut down the number of agencies of government, for example. We have been talking, that's why they're talking about the Orosanye report now, because there are all kinds of over-bloated agencies of government, some duplicating functions and all of that. We need to look at all of that too, to cut down on the cost of governance. But then, of course, running democracy is still the only way forward. Okay. We cannot cut down governance to the point that we now run an autocracy. Okay. We now run a dictatorship. All these other arms of government must still function and function effectively to check each other too. But then I agree with you that the cost of governance is high and we need to look at them at it. Okay,
then I'm coming to the youth. The youth in Nigeria is about 65% of the population. How can we harness this segment of our population to become productive?
Well, one of the major ways to do it is to skill them up. Okay. I've mentioned this at different fora. That productive population, that energy that they have, yes, we must immediately engage that energy. If you don't do it positively, it will turn to negative energy. And that's what will end up in banditry, kidnapping, and perhaps fraud, what they call Yahoo these days and all that. So we must immediately engage them. Okay. And government is to create the enabling environment. Government must promote the entertainment industry. Government must promote arts. Government must promote all of these avenues by which young people these days express themselves. And then most importantly, government should be prepared to skill them up. They should not encourage them to keep waiting for white-collar jobs. They should not encourage them to keep waiting at home to receive employment letters. They should go out there, acquire some kind of skill. Let me tell you, some of the most comfortable people in the Western world are plumbers. You know, plumbers carpenters,
artisans.
They are some of the most comfortable people. We must learn to have dignity in labor. We must begin to push Nigeria towards that angle where labor, let's say hand labor, there should be dignity in that kind of labor, not just biro kind of work. Once we put dignity in labor, we encourage more people to come in there. So we must encourage that type of job creation. Even people now, in those days, it used to be that people look down on carpenters. But these days, I think even carpentry has left diplomas and all that, so they have moved ahead in terms of ranking. Yeah. Because now the furniture makers are the billionaires. Once you have the right environment, the tool, and all that, and you employ people, the furniture makers now are the billionaires around that. And if you have a full opportunity for me, let me know. Maybe I'll live here and begin furniture making. I'm looking for the opportunity.
Pulling our legs, Honorable Minister. Okay, now you're saying that we should look at dignity of labor. The Nigerian youth has left that space with the social media and a lot of display of ostentatious wealth. They don't want to do dignity. They want fast money. Well,
I think that has to do with national reorientation.
That's where I'm going.
Yeah, everywhere, America, in London, everywhere in the UK, Europe. Everybody has access to the hush puppy kind of display of wealth. But then, do they imbibe it? Do they want to follow that type of life? These days, you can still be giving somebody money to do his job in Europe and in the US, and the person will say, what's that for? You will ask, what's that for? No, I'm just doing my job, thank you. So I think it needs a whole lot of reorientation for us to realize that, we just need to do we need to do our jobs without having to corrupt the environment before we do our jobs. So that is a whole issue that is not just government issue. That's the point I'm making. Society has been, totally corrupted with that type of attitude.
Okay. So what about our labor laws? I'm told they've not been reviewed in a while.
Well, since I came here, I have started that process. I headed the committee, and we had a retreat in Lagos just before the lockdown. The lockdown has actually disturbed the process, but we're about to begin again. In fact, the lockdown, we're just 1 week before the lockdown started, that we went to Lagos with all the labor leaders, all the stakeholders, the major labor unions. And we sat down for 1 week, locked the door, looked at everything one by one, and came to some 95% agreement. So as I speak with you, the clean copy is ready. We have looked at all the clean copies of all the laws, about 6 of them. And then we are going back. Very soon we'll present it to the Federal Executive Council. And once they approve, we'll go to Parliament and the process will begin. So, so long as I'm here, if I have enough time, being a senior advocate here, that should be one of the legacies I would like to leave in this office, to review our labor laws. Okay.
Then in employment, you were going to create 774,000 jobs post-COVID.
Yes, post-COVID, temporary jobs.
Temporary jobs?
Yes, they're for 3 months. Temporary? It's for 3 months, really, because it's just for temporary relief, momentary relief to people who are affected by the COVID pandemic. Especially the laborers, and this one, they target the laborers.
Is there a database for them?
We are developing it. We're registering all of them and want to develop a database for it.
Okay. Yes. Okay. All right. Looking forward to 2023, what kind of leader should Nigeria aspire? Yes, that's
should aspire to get.
Yes.
Yes. Well, there's a groundswell of opinion now, really, that we should look at character first. Leader that is upright, that is not associated with stealing, especially, and mismanagement of public funds. I think that should be the #1 criteria. Before you look at all these things they talk about, age and young and old and all that. Those things are necessary, yes, but the first and foremost is character. Okay. It's character, not just okay, you say we want a young person. A 40 or 41-year-old comes and begins to do motivational speaking and say, yes, I want that to be president. No, the person has to be tested and trusted in public office first. Okay. You can't just wake up one morning from private life and say, I want to be president, without having to be tested in even a smaller version of a public office to see how you can function in public office. It's difficult to just walk straight from your house to public office, to president of Federal Republic of Nigeria, without being, in some kind of public office first.
But there are countries that people have come from the private sector and it worked.
Yeah, but the point is that not the type of orientation we have here.
Okay.
And then even coming from the private sector, you must have managed that private sector very well. That's the point. In rare occasions like that, you must have managed that private sector, not just some small businesses, big businesses, manage them very well. Because government is also big business. And that's what Abiola was trying to do before they stopped him too. But I'm talking of people who have no pedigree in private life even, who are just motivational speakers. Its character is not tested until you manage big businesses, until you hold public funds especially. That is the test of character. Test of character is not motivational speeches.
Okay.
We should look for character first.
Okay.
Then we now look for somebody who's energetic enough to run the country.
All right. Please say the prayer for Nigeria at 60.
Well, first the first prayer for this country is that we should remain one. We should learn to tolerate ourselves. We have done so many intermarriages now. You know, cross-country businesses, Igbo's own business in the north, Northerners' own businesses in the south, Easterners' own business in the west, and vice versa. We have so mixed up now that it will be more costly for us to break up. More costly, more devastating than to remain united. We have no other option but to remain united. So that's my first prayer. And we must remain united in peace, unity, and equity. There must be justice in remaining together, not injustice in remaining together. I pray for that justice. I will pray for that equity for us to remain together. I pray for peace, and I pray for good government. And I pray that we can lift our people out of grinding poverty. People who are rich, people who are comfortable, they are not safe so long as the majority of Nigerians are poor. We must think of the poor. Thank you.
Well, it's a wrap on This is Nigeria, and we've been talking to the Minister of State, Labor and Employment, a senior advocate of Nigeria, Festus Keyamo. And you've heard his views and his prayer for Nigeria, and we're also praying for Nigeria. Congratulations to Nigeria at 60. My name is Mayowa Oluwabi. Thank you for watching. God bless Nigeria.